Rubin started his show back in 2013 with the Young Turks and had this to say in his intro.
We are not going to do pundits and talking heads. If you want to find out what the administration thinks about something, turn on MSNBC. You want to find out what the Republicans think, turn on Fox. You want to find out what two talking heads who are just going to go to lunch in the afternoon together, turn on CNN. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to find interesting topics, and we're going to get to the heart of them.
Now, Dave Rubin has been conservative for a while. Let's find out when he started to go in that direction. Let's go back to May 2017 when Dave Rubin made a video called "A Republican That Democrats Can Get Behind."
Local Republican, actually kind of cool. All right, so the guy is off the grid. He's down with hemp. He doesn't like the NSA. He's not a fan of Boehner, the establishment Republicans. Guy actually seems kind of cool.
Awkward. Not too much later, he falls down the PC culture rabbit hole and starts banging on about it. He still does to this day. I'm pretty much a free speech absolutist and I don't like PC culture, but I don't obsess over it, and I have Asperger's.
Hey guys, you know I love talking about free speech and political correctness, so you know what I think about free speech. Use it. You are allowed to offend people. You're supposed to offend people. You have a right to free speech, not the right to not be offended.
Well, there's political correctness and there's being a prick. Anyway, after this point, he seems to only go after left-wing PC culture and not right-wing or religious PC culture. Let's count how many videos he's made about PC culture, trigger warnings, and SJWs. Keep in mind, I do have my criticisms of SJWs in the far left, but I think conservatives can blow it out of proportion and act like all the left are like that, while not criticizing the right. I guess in this part of the Angie Cinematic Universe, Dave Rubin is teaching us to count. Ha ha ha. Like the count. Notice that as time goes on, he only seems to have right-wingers on and not very many left-wingers. It seems like Dave Rubin is perpetually stuck in 2015 or 2016 YouTube. As you can see, he's happy to call out leftists on their PC culture, but where's the energy for right-wing or religious crazies, PC culture? Now let's discuss his other obsession, identity politics. Let's go back to his 2015 video, Why We Should Elect More Women. He called Hillary Clinton too corporatist, which is true.
You're not going to necessarily vote for Hillary.
Oh, hell no. I'm actually...
Little too corporate, little too much Goldman Sachs money?
I'm definitely 100%
I'm not choosing her
not
because she's a woman.
Right, but I'm guessing you both might vote for Elizabeth Warren, but you would say that's because of policy.
Absolutely.
Dave isn't a fan of Hillary. Let's look at this 2014 clip from Why Do Gay People Love Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, I personally, in good conscience, can't vote for another Clinton or Bush. I just simply will not do it.
Oh, interesting.
We left England for a reason, and I don't think that families, I never had anyone in my family that was president. Have you guys?
Time to count how often he talks about identity politics. He hates it for the left, but doesn't mind it when the right do it. Disclaimer, I hate identity politics too. Candace calls herself Red Pill Black. I mean, that's her entire brand. Reminds me of Fox News. Let's bring the one armed black conservative woman that we agree with. Once again, gay and conservative. Oh my god, she's not like other girls! Now let's look at another early sign of his shifting to the right-wing grifting. When he uses anecdotes to dismiss liberals.
That famous saying, it's like, if you're in your 20s and you're not a liberal, you have no heart.
Yeah.
And if you're in your 30s and you're not a conservative, you have no brain. That maybe younger people are a little more emotionally driven. naturally is going to have you believe in liberal principles. So what happens to people in their 30s when they start getting more conservative?
That's actually, it doesn't happen. That's one of the biggest myths. If you take a survey at any given time and break the results down based on age, you will see that the older groups are more conservative than the younger groups. There is no evidence, though, that that same younger group will in itself be more conservative by the time they're older. The oldest age group surveyed at any given time is the most conservative of those who are then alive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a little hard to wrap my brain around that. But
in 2015, he posted his rules for his rebooted Rubin Report on Aura TV. It didn't age well. I'll post the best bits and post some things that contradict that.
As many of you know, over the last few months, I've been really disappointed by people supposedly on my team, the left, on issues of political correctness and free speech. Toss in the social justice warriors and our lapdog media, and debate, and I mean true debate, gets totally tossed out the window. To me, there is literally nothing more important in a democracy than free speech and debate. We should debate everything. We should talk about everything. We should engage in ideas that we aren't comfortable with.
A few PragerU indoctrination videos later.
Well, wait a minute. I accept the fact that you want to be homeless. I don't want my kid to be homeless. I accept the fact that you want to smoke crack. I don't want my kid to smoke crack.
Dave Rubin is gay? No!
A Shabbat anniversary, I think, probably is out, yeah.
What I've really been affected by is seeing my side, the people on the left, cherry-picking facts, stifling debate, and labeling everyone they disagree with a racist, a bigot, a homophobe.
Case in point, your buddies Ben the Shrimp Shapiro and Jordan Kermit the Frog Peterson.
Israelis like to build. Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. Hashtag settlements rock. Our hate-filled president slaps religious Americans in the face in the name of love, using tax dollars for gay propaganda.
Is there sexual harassment in the workplace? Yes. Should it stop? That'd be good. Will it? Well, not at the moment it won't, because we don't know what the rules are. Why should you wear makeup in the workplace? Isn't that sexually provocative?
No.
Why do you make your lips red? Because they turn red during sexual arousal. That's why.
Does my lipstick turn you on, Dr. Peterson?
Daddy.
Does my lipstick turn you on, Dr. Peterson?
Daddy.
There's been an awakening of the sane majority.
Reminiscent of a conservative term called the silent majority. Pause to read.
Set a couple ground rules for how we're going to do this show. Rule number one, I promise you that beyond anything else, I will not blatantly lie to you.
Does lying to your guests count?
People that I would consider on the right, like Stefan Molyneux, for example.
Well, I've never said that Stefan Molyneux's in the new center.
Really?
Have you ever heard me say that?
I thought you had.
No, I've never said that. No.
Gaslighting your guests? Stay classy, Rubin. I am the all-seeing moon, and here's a reminder of what you said about Stefan Molyneux.
5 years ago, where liberals and conservatives were just fighting about everything, now actually there's a new center developing, and I think both of us are sort of in that, not in the exact same political part, but to me that's irrelevant whether we agree on everything.
The real far-right people who want America to be a white ethno-state, which is completely against the founding documents.
You mean documents written by slave owners?
And is not conservative by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, oddly, that's more left, if you really think about it, because that's about big government making decisions about people. If you want people to truly be free, which is freedom, ultimate freedom, is on the right.
Please fact check me if you hear me say something that you think is factually unsound or patently wrong. Rule number 4, I won't be a partisan hack.
I want you to continue to say you're a liberal because you're of great use to good value.
Well, don't worry, I'm not doing it for your use of me. I'm doing it for myself.
No. It's like Christians who say to me, we would love you to come to Christ, but you are so valuable to us as a Jew when you defend us Christians. Yeah. And they're right. You are valuable in the best sense of the word.
I will consistently stand for liberal values.
Many unbearable hours later.
Now we're equal. You call me whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like you could call me
and that's what it feels like
it wouldn't mean anything to me.
Now we're equal, eh? Says the man living in the liberal bubble that is California. Pause to read. Remember when Dave Rubin wasn't a bootlicker? I remember.
ExxonMobil shareholders voted for the 14th consecutive year to reject a resolution that would have added non-discrimination protections for their LGBT employees. I mean, what? Really? Is that 14 years in a row? Guys, what are you doing?
Self-awareness, zero.
We're going to talk about big ideas here.
I'm not comfortable using the she pronoun.
And you're not going to defend me, Rubin? Some friend.
Hold on.
So like be
Battle of ideas.
Doesn't matter. You were on it for an hour and someone else's life.
I promise to keep reading as many of your tweets, comments, and messages as humanly possible. I want this to be a conversation, not just me talking at you.
Says the man who exiled half of Twitter from his marketplace of ideas. Hashtag blocked by Rubin, hashtag Dave Shives.
I won't fake outrage for clicks and views. There's enough ranting and raving on TV and online, and if that's what you're looking for, look elsewhere.
All of the mainstream everything is all being controlled by this horrific ideology that I truly believe could alter and destroy this country, all of the freedoms that we have.
This is what I mean when I say that this regressive movement will come for all of us one day. I suspect that it's coming for private citizens for Wrong Think Next.
Guess I'll need to look elsewhere. Dave Rubin is a fearmonger.
I will not always live up to these rules, but I will try, do the best I can.
Freedom Toons, a Rubin fan, said it best. So here's the Rubin in a nutshell.
Regressive, PC culture, regressive left.
They're the same picture. Now let's see the next evolution in his show in 2016, when he went independent. It's like a Pokemon.
As of this episode, right this second, we now begin our journey as a fully fan-funded show thanks to you guys.
The Koch Brothers are fans, I assume? Are you kidding me? Dave Rubin didn't dive in without a plan. He was getting big money offers and didn't want others to get a cut.
Total ownership over a forum to share the ideas I care about most. Thanks to our monthly patrons, I won't have to make corporate deals I don't want to make.
One soul sold to the devil later.
Many people, organizations, and institutes reached out to us after we relaunched to partner with us. One that really piqued our interest,
AKA is paying us the most money,
was the YouTube channel Learn Liberty. After doing a little digging, I quickly realized that they were a great fit for our commitment to free speech and big ideas. I'll be sitting down with the Carmack Waterhouse Professor of Legal Theory at the Georgetown University Law Center, Randy Barnett. I'm looking forward to working with Learn Liberty to introduce you to academics, intellectuals, and other bright people so that together we can make America smart again.
America has always had smart people. You know what smart people do? Do critical thinking and see through your propaganda.
Totally independent.
Dave Rubin is known for not being consistent. Here I'll show you his evolution on Trump from March 2016 to today. You'll be disappointed, but not surprised.
Has there ever been a time when a frontrunner on either side was so hated by his own party's establishment? Not that I know of. And interestingly, this mess is actually of the GOP's own doing. They didn't see the rise of the Tea Party until it was too late, which set the GOP establishment against their own base. He has absolutely exposed our robotic politicians who are bought and sold. In many ways, his message of a broken system corrupted by money is exactly the same thing that Bernie Sanders is saying. Trump has also talked about America's awful trade deals with China and Mexico and promised to negotiate better ones. And actually, there's every reason to believe that he would be good at this. As an American businessman, he's doing what's best for his business by making ties in Mexico.
Right here.
Damn Mexicans taking our jobs.
I was
It's not the fault of the businessman who uses the system. That's the fault of the politicians who set up the bad deals which enable it.
Before Dave Rubin sold out,
Walmart, you've probably heard of them. They're probably in your neighborhood, destroying the local economy right this very second. They were fined this week $82 million for violating the Clean Water Act. And they're just dumping crap into the water. We then drink the water, we wash our faces with the water, all that good stuff. The Walton family, which of course owns Walmart, that their fortune is equal to the wealth of the bottom 42% of Americans combined. I don't begrudge anyone's success. I believe it is the American dream to build a business and to make money and reap the rewards of your hard work and all that. But this is completely out of control.
It is out of control.
While Trump never takes the time to make the distinction between Islamic extremism and the average Muslim person,
Not making that distinction is Islamophobic.
Trump sees an opening for an easy answer here, like banning all Muslims from entering the country, and he runs with it.
If he wins, does anyone think he'll actually adhere to the Constitution? Will he care about due process or respect the three branches of government? Will he sue reporters who investigate the White House? Will we get into a war over a mistaken retweet?
But don't be fooled, you're being sold a bill of goods by someone who only cares about making a deal. When the product sucks, don't expect to get a refund. While we can parse out why Trump has risen, the fact is he is here, and all of us have to acknowledge there is a political movement brewing on the horizon. It may not be the one you like, but trying to silence Trump supporters by blocking roads to rallies.
Is he going to say the Boston Tea Party was wrong and the Americans should have just had a friendly discussion with the Brits? A battle of ideas?
Or by labeling all his supporters racist isn't going to stop his rise. Actually, it's just going to make his support that much stronger. This is why I always talk about the battle of ideas on this show. If you hate Trump, if you think his comments about Muslims are horrible, if you think his border wall is terrible, and you think his general disposition is disgusting, then use your speech to promote a candidate with better ideas. If you like Bernie, then help Bernie get the vote out. If you like Hillary, then tell your friends why. If you like Ted Cruz, well then you're the only one, but good for you. We've never needed a battle of ideas more in this country than we do right now.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, something is really, really wrong with our political system right now. Two broken candidates from two broken parties competing in a broken election for control of a nation going broke.
Dave Rubin is a lot like Lauren Chen. He will convince you of something by starting with something reasonable, then talking about what he wants you to think.
As for Trump, I still have no real idea what he thinks about any issue. He will say anything, quite literally anything, to stay in the news. He seems deeply uninterested in other opinions than his own. Our thoughts have been reduced to 6-second videos, 140-character sentences, filtered images, and mindless snaps.
Okay, boomer.
I skipped a bunch of this video because it's all PC culture, regressive left, battle of ideas, blah blah, typical Dave Rubin talking points.
He's given a voice to middle America that is usually ignored or mocked by the elite. He represents the greatest threat to this social justice fiasco infecting all levels of society. In short, if you think that things are really messed up and we have to change it at any cost, then it absolutely makes sense to vote for Trump.
Yeah, vote for the guy who builds concentration camps for immigrants to die in and be separated from their families.
There is no question that our system is screwed up, but the truth is, it's still one of the best ones out there.
Before Dave Rubin sold out.
So Switzerland has a bill pending that is going to give every adult in the country $2,800 a month. They are going to vote on this shortly, and they want a basic minimum sort of living standard for everybody. And I just saw this, and I think this is kind of great. Switzerland, which already has universal health care, by the way, which is given to everybody. And if you're rich, you do pay a little bit of a higher premium. Again, seems like a pretty fair system. So they seem to be doing something good there. Is there anything that we as Americans can take away from this system that's trying to give people just sort of like a baseline to be like, okay, you can live?
Complete 180. Now he's a super patriotic, America's the best country in the world, bro, type.
People still look to America as a beacon of light in the world. Whoever you choose in this election, I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter when you're rich. Come on, Dave, you're out of touch with the average American. Dave Rubin is going softball on Trump because he wants to keep his doors open to the lucrative right-wing grift. Here are some of his takes after the election.
I was saying I thought this was 50-50 the whole time because I thought the Trump base was enthused. I thought the Hillary base was not enthused, and if those people showed up, then that was what was going to happen. This is actually a win for us. Now let's set aside Trump for just a second. Our movement, right? The things that we have been talking about judging people individually, not by groups, and also just calling out the nonsense and bullshit of the mainstream media, and calling out the bullshit of the elites, and all of that stuff, and not ignoring the whole middle of the country. I'm somebody I'm from New York and I live in California now, but I don't ignore or belittle the people in the middle of the country, and I don't think anyone should. These are all the things that I've been talking about, finding common ground and not using buzzwords like racist and bigot and homophobe and Islamophobe and all this stuff to just silence dissent. All of these things. This was a win for us, right? Now, if you hate Trump, let's see what happens. My feeling is at the moment, I think there's a great opportunity here. Trump, I think, is a populist. He wants to basically do probably things that will make him feel popular and loved. You have the right to protest, of course. I am for free speech and for expression. I don't know that you will ever find anyone that is more for that than me.
Doesn't that sound an awful lot like a certain someone, Trump? I'm the most, tremendous, best.
but you have to do it legally. If you block roads like the 101, which leads to my house, if you block roads, all you're doing is actually strengthening the other side.
You know who broke the law? Martin Luther King. Laws are not always right. Would you look at that? Here's Martin Luther King blocking the road. He doesn't know shit about Martin Luther King. What can I expect from someone who thinks that Martin Luther King and JFK would be conservatives today?
Young people think that socialism is cool, that this leftist nonsense is cool, that the Oppression Olympics is cool, that suddenly segregating based on race is cool. Martin Luther King and JFK would most likely be conservatives by today's standards.
Martin Luther King was a democratic socialist, you ding-dong.
Trump does something wrong, does something illegal, immoral, any of that, I will be the first to hold his feet to the fire.
Now, let's keep this hold Trump's feet to the fire quote in mind. Post-election, almost all of his interviewees are conservatives, and now you won't believe who he's interviewing. Let's bring back a soundbite from earlier in the video.
You want to find out what the Republicans think, turn on Fox.
Or you can turn on the Rubin Report. John Kasich, Sebastian Gorka, Ajit Pai, and Donald Trump Jr., who looks like a cheap version of Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Aw, look at the two lovebirds. I ship it.
I will be the first to hold his feet to the fire.
Self-awareness, 0.
But wait, there's more.
But I think most people realize the policies of Trump, even if you're a lefty, haven't been that bad.
I will be the first to hold his feet to the fire.
Another one. If everything basically stays like it is right now, and my choice in 2020 is either Trump or Bernie or Elizabeth Warren or Gavin Newsom or one of these crazy progressives, I'm voting Trump. And I won't have a problem doing it. And that just shows you how everything is all over the place right now.
I will be the first to hold his feet to the fire.
Another one.
Do you want the government to tell you how to do all these things and all the regulations that you got to have your electric thing this far from this and like all
the regulations like that for construction are important though. You do have to make sure that people don't do stupid.
Another one.
Well, that's why I see this as the failure of the modern liberals, because it's like, even with some of our IDW crew, that most of these people, most of us, come from the left originally. And it's like, well, the position we're at now is there's no one on the left that will talk to any of us without attacking us or doing any of the usual tricks. Now we've got all of these people like you and Prager and the rest of them that are willing to talk to us, willing to debate.
Another one. So I came from the progressive world. I now view being progressive basically as a mental disorder or something. But I consider myself classic liberal, which really is conservative in a lot of respects.
It's libertarian essentially.
Yeah, it's technically defined as conservative or libertarian.
Even Joe Rogan called out Dave Rubin when Kyle Kulinski went on his show. Damn.
Liberal, conservative, it casts such a wide net because...
And then people like to get sneaky and use, no, I'm a classic liberal.
I consider myself classic liberal.
Yeah, because
what is that? What is that?
Exactly.
You're a fucking Republican.
And it's funny because there's actually, when you actually look at the textbook definition of a lot of these terms, they have multiple meanings.
Yes.
So classical liberal, in some instances, means just like libertarian, because that's what it used to mean back in the day. But in today's day and age, like you said, it could mean you're kind of right-leaning.
Yeah, it's more right of center.
Right.
They call it classical liberal is it's a misleading term.
Well, that's enough dragging Dave Rubin. So yeah, he's a grifter, liar, partisan hack, and I'll let Kyle Jank and Anna take over.
Like, try a little harder. You're getting paid really well to be a political commentator. Like, at least make it so I don't laugh at you and think you're a pathetic human being. Every time he talks about politics, it goes right to identity politics. How many times has he said to tweet, you know, as a gay man, I don't care that you're gay. You're doing the exact same thing that you say you hate.
That's it.
Can't even defend anything he says. He didn't do anything right. That's my idea.
Now, hey, us here on the right, what we know how to do is agree to disagree, and those people on the left don't know how to do that. And so now's the part where I'm gonna say we should build a wall and keep only the people we ideologically agree with inside the wall and kick everybody else out. What happened to agree to disagree?
By the way, why doesn't Dave live in some of those red states? Because they hate gay people.
I think we're done here. Let me know which grifter you want me to expose next in a T-Spill style video. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, my blog, and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to see more great videos like this, consider donating to my PayPal or Patreon. Peace.
Can't relate. I own my own company.
Angie Moon, guaranteed to blow your mind.